So as I was saying, that's why it's vital that when you're adjusting, you're going to install this in the car, put it in neutral, and the shift levers, make sure it's in neutral as well, right? And then it has to be right in the middle without any, pressure from the nuts. It's hard to explain. Fuck. You have to be the neutral of the steering column has to be in the neutral here. Now, if you, let's say, without any pressure, it can still be in neutral in the steering column, but it's in a neutral with pressure. So it's, let's say it's in between neutral and second gear, for example. It's in between neutral and another gear. So it's like almost shifting. So it's right in between. You don't want that. It has to be spot on. It has to be right, exactly right on the neutral gear when it's in neutral here. Exactly right in the second gear when it's in second. If it's in between, then you're going to have shifting problems and you're going to wear out these gears. But I'd just like to show you quickly the shifting here. This, considering that there's no oil in it yet, there's a little bit of surf oil on the surface, but not the proper oil. This has been sitting for a long time. You've guys seen how it was before. If you watched the previous videos, the starting videos. It's not properly aligned yet. There's no snap ring, but just feel it. Right now it's neutral. I'm going to shift it to first gear. That's first gear right there. That's where the sound you're looking for if it's dry. There's no resistance. I'm going to shift it back to neutral. That's shifting back and forth from first and neutral. Shift it to neutral. I know the output shaft is turning a little bit. If I hold it, it won't turn. There is friction, remember? Friction will cause it to turn. Once it's in the car, the weight of the car won't let it spin at all. So it's going to be like this. If it's actually turning, you're actually having to really hold it here when it's neutral and something's wrong. Now I'm just applying slight pressure and that's stopping it from turning. See? Okay, reverse. It's in reverse now. Remember how this was before? It wasn't turning at all? Look at it now, huh? Back in neutral. Sure. So I might as well just tell you guys the arrangement, because you might not know and it might not be easy to tell. There's a couple ways you can tell if it's neutral. Right? From the gears, there should be a space. This gear, the big gear, on your right. Right now you're looking at it this way. To the right is the back of the car. It's a rear wheel drive car. Here would be your drive shaft. And here would be the clutch and the engine on your left side here. If you're looking at it like that, reverse and first gear are this side here on your right. Second and third is here on your left. Okay? When it's neutral, this big gear on the right should be exactly in the middle, so that there is space here on your right and the space here on your left, so that you can see the shaft. And it's a twisted shaft, right? With the twisted grooves. You should be able to see both synchromesh gears on the left and on the right. On the left here, which is the second and third gears. This should be right in the middle. Just feel how smoothly that turns. You shouldn't be hearing any grinding sounds. A little bit of grinding, because you see this here, it's not. See how it's wobbly, still wobbly? Now once this is nice and firm, you won't hear anything at all. And so this is normal for right now. But if this gear, if this synchro mesh gear is jumping up and down, and you're hearing this sound here, you're hearing, that's going to be hard for me to show it with one hand. Let's see here. Try to hold it with my armpit or my tummy. Hearing that, and there's something wrong. It's misaligned. And this is still pretty loose here. But so that's how you tell if it's in neutral. First gear, this big gear will be touching this other gear. Put it in first gear. There for you to see. Right there, see? I'm turning it this way. They're all turning it in the same direction, see? That's the first gear, but as you can tell, this one's turning much slower than the input shaft. See? Reverse gear, they'll turn in opposite directions, obviously. So put it back in neutral. Reverse, see? This one's turning that way now, like that. This one is turning this way. I don't know if you can tell from there. Here, my hands there. See, my hands are turning in opposite directions. I'm just turning my hands so that you can see. In neutral, they'll turn in both the same. Sorry, in first gear, they'll turn in the same direction. You see? Right. Back in neutral. Leave this is second gear. Let's see. No, this is third gear. Third gear, it's a 1-to-1 radio. So the input shaft will turn exactly the same as the output shaft. That's called direct drive. The engine is directly connected to the drive shaft. That's why it's the extra gears. They're called overdrive. Okay, so basically the engine is turning slower than the drive shaft, but the car is turning faster. Okay, right now the engine is turning just as fast as the drive shaft. If it's in second gear, which is the one on the right here, that second gear's there. Not shifting as nicely yet. There you go. Because this one is moving. You'll see that as I'm turning this, it's almost the same speed as here. Almost. But you can still see that this side is a little slower than as I'm turning it here. Right? So the engine is still turning a lot faster, still turning faster than the drive shaft. Which means that there's a lot of force. It's just like riding a bicycle, guys. Now as I put it in third gear, you see that it's actually turning a lot faster and a lot more freely. Wow, this is turning nicely. Just listen to that. It wouldn't move at all before. It's really rewarding. Now, that's why with a 3-speed manual, it's not as good. It's not good to take it to the highway, freeway, because your engine is going to be like "Vah!" constantly. That's not good. And if you actually calculate, the size of the revolutions per minute, the RPMs of the engine, the size of your tire, and the ratio, you'll see that with I think 1,000 RPMs, which is already double the RPMs of idle. For the regular American, it's supposed to be idling at 500 RPMs. If I take it to 1,000 RPMs, which is already a lot more, you can already hear the engine. Vah! You can already hear the engine turning really fast. you can only get it up to, you can only get the car up to, I think it's 70, 80 kilometers an hour with pretty big wheels. I think 24 inches. You know, with bigger wheels, then the car will turn faster. You think you can get about 10 kilometers an hour more if I switch to bigger wheels. But again, this is different for cars, right? For different cars. The Rambler American is supposed to idle at 500 RPMs, but I think the another car, it's 700. Some cars are actually 1,000 RPMs. It's the idle, right? But for the Rambler American, it's only 500. That's why it's a really quiet car. And it was known for that. And it's known for reliability and the silence. Okay, the flatheads, those were the advantages of the flatheads over the V8s. V8s, the pistons are opposite to each other. So they're actually, you know, it's a little more noisy. Flatheads were known for their reliability and for the silence. You know, once you're with this car, a lot of people think, nah, it's not as comfortable as modern cars and the engines are, you know, noisier. You can hear the noise only when you're accelerating. It's only for a few seconds, and that's the classic sound of classic cars. You know, it's like I just love the sound, guys. But once it's in gear and you're driving at the proper speed, you can't hear it at all. Okay? Just like modern cars, I mean, the silence, it's actually more quiet. It's actually quieter than modern cars, and I'll show you guys one day. But for now, just listen to that. Now, if you're at higher speeds, you know, you need the overdrive. If you're going to go over 70 kilometers an hour, you're going to need the overdrive, okay? That's what this is, direct drive. Direct drive means the engine is directly connected to the wheels, to the drive shaft and the wheels, okay? So then, now with the overdrive, the engine is actually connected to a bigger gear, which means that now, instead of the 1-to-1 radio, you now have like a 1-to-3 radio. In other words, for the speed of the engine, the output shaft is turning like twice, or I don't know, 3 times as fast. I don't think it's that much, but it's faster. Okay, this is actually, with this, the maximum speed you can get is this one turning as fast as this one together. With the overdrive, this will be, the engine will be turning slower, and this will be turning much faster. Okay, and I'll do the same demonstration later. But just notice the speed right now in third gear. I don't know how well you can notice. I'll just zoom in to the output there. See? See, they're all turning the same speed. Let's look at this now. Okay. And then I'll show you guys the video later of the overdrive, okay? So yeah, that's it right now. Man, it's turning like a dream. Just do some more shifting here, you see? Look at how easily that shifts now. Look, second to third. It wouldn't even turn it off before. Look, fuck. So what you can also notice here is that on this side, there's no synchromesh gears. There's none of these tiny gears. That's why it's not fully synchronized. It's a partially synchronized transmission. There's no synchronization for first and second gear, which is stupid because you don't need it anyway. I don't understand. There's no reason for you to have a fully synchronized transmission. There's no need to synchronize first and reverse. It's got to stop the car. You know, it doesn't matter. So, you know, synchronizing first and reverse, it just makes it more complicated, and it's just dumber. There's no reason for you to do it. Second and third gears, they need to be synchronized. because you can't stop the car. You know, when you change speeds, first and reverse, you gotta stop the car. So even if you might think, well, with the synchronizer, you don't have to stop the car. You do. You do anyways. Okay? If you don't stop the car, it'll damage the synchronizer. So it's actually better to have non-synchronizer gears, because non-synchronized first and reverse, because cast iron gears, you know, they will take a beating. They'll, even if you don't do it properly, like I showed you, if you don't stop properly, it will sort of damage the gears and will wear them out. But it'll take much longer time to wear them out than the brass, you know, the little tiny synchro mesh gears. If you go in reverse, or if you switch from reverse to first, or first to reverse, between first and reverse, without stopping, I'm gonna say that the synchronizer gears, they might get damaged immediately, completely, you know, fucked up immediately. So there's no point in putting them. I don't know why somebody would overcomplicate things unnecessarily for no advantage. You know, only disadvantage is get a fully synchronized transmission. That's just dumb. And you can see how tiny this transmission actually is. Now they have all sorts of weird shapes, and fuck this and fuck that, and aluminum cases that are easy to break, and fucking shitty bolts and all that garbage. You know, nice and simple, nice and short, small. You know, you can easily lift this up. I mean, it's still fucking really heavy, but you know, it's really heavy. That's what I like about it. But it's not as heavy as, you know, some modern transmissions are. They're just fucking huge. It's just hard to hold them. This, you can put it in with one hand, lift one side. The input shaft is really long, so you can, you know, you can just put the input shaft here in, and you just push the rest in. It's really easy. Very easy to align it. The lines itself, so you see, it's rounded here. You know why it's rounded? So that it can shift inside easily. Now, with modern transmissions, it's, you know, there's fucking thousands of splines here. Thousands of them. Which is not only weaker, but it's really a lot more difficult to align. This here, it's really easy to put in. You just basically slide it in. That's it. And I'll show you later. But I think we can end the video here. And yeah, this ends the manual transmission, 3-speed T96 four-Warner manual transmission reassembly. Okay. Now the next part, we'll start with the overdrive, and then I'll show you how it works. I actually, to be honest, I don't fully understand it yet. Like, I can't understand how it works in my head fully. I know like parts and bits, but once it's fully assembled, we'll understand exactly how it works, how it shifts, possible problems, and things that could happen and all that. But for now, that's how you rebuild a T96 3-speed manual transmission. So bye bye.